Hello, and it's really good to have your company for this It's Learning Thursday webinar. My name's Ella Coles and I'm a pedagogical consultant with It's Learning, which means I work with schools, colleges and training providers to help them develop their learning platform and get the most out of it for yourselves and your learners. As usual, the recording will be available for any of your colleagues to catch up with on our website, so please do remind them about it. Just go to itslearning.co.uk and click on Events. Then click on It's Learning Thursdays on the left-hand side, and that will take you through to the webinars. For those of you watching this webinar from outside the UK, a warm welcome to you. And if you have any questions arising from the webinar, please could you address those to your own national consultants who will be happy to help. I'm going to use a variety of sites to demonstrate what I'm telling you about today. The original It's Learning with the left-hand navigation panel, and also the new It's Learning with the menus along the top. If your school hasn't yet switched to the new It's Learning, don't worry. Everything that I'm showing you today can be done in both versions, and I'll point out any differences as we go. As we have World Book Day fast approaching on Thursday the 2nd of March, we're going to start by looking at how It's Learning can help to make this a really enjoyable and smooth running event. And as reading isn't just for World Book Day, I thought this might be a good time to look at how you can use your VLE to provide reading-related activities for your learners to engage and motivate them to read, and also to involve your library or LRC in the platform, giving it its own area and enabling librarians to make use of the same tools and activities that the rest of your organisation has access to promote their services and nurture reading skills. First of all, let's look at what's going on for World Book Day. One of the easiest things you can do is to create a course in It's Learning specifically for World Book Day. Add all staff and learners as participants, and you have an instant communication channel to send out bulletins with information, links and reminders to the whole school. These bulletins will be automatically pulled through to each user's homepage for them to see when they log in, and also to the free app that they can download to their iPhone or Android smartphone. You can use the calendar to add events for things that are happening in school and draw attention to those, as well as linking through to further information in your bulletin that you set up in your platform. And here it is pulled through to the smartphone app with information about what's been happening in the World Book Day course. It's amazing to see all your students and staff turning up dressed as their favourite book character on World Book Day. My school always took loads of photos, but it isn't always easy to share those. One way is to set up a slideshow in It's Learning. You can use something like Adobe Spark Video. This is a free-to-use online tool. You just need to create an account with an email address so that you can save your slideshows to that. So here I am in spark.adobe.com and I'm signed in, and that takes me to my projects page. So I just click on the plus and select video. Give it a title. Our favourite book characters. And then just scroll across to make up my own. You've got lots of different templates you can use, but I'm just going to make my own. Wait while the software gets itself set up. We'll forget the tutorial for a moment. So next thing to do is to add a photo. So if I click on the first screen to add my photo, and I can either go and find something on the cloud, but I actually want to upload a photo, and we'll use one from there. You can add a narration, so if you want to put some audio over it talking about the photos, you can do. And I'm just going to click on the screen to get the format that I want. So I can either choose to put some captions underneath them, for example, or a full screen, which I can add other things to. I'm not going to add anything else to that one at the moment. Click on the plus to add the next screen. And just as we did before, click to add a photo, upload my next photo. And you get the general idea. Now you can also go back, click on any of these to edit them, and you'll see down here I've got the actual time that will be visible before the next slide appears. So if I put that on 5, do the same thing for my next. I'll leave you to discover all the lovely things that you can do with this particular piece of online software. But the next thing that I'm going to do now is to click share. Once I've got all my photos up, click on share. You don't have to do much here. Just pick a category, which I always put for education. And then going down to the last bit where it says get noticed, I don't actually want mine published on the website, so I'm going to turn that off. I can then click on create unlisted link, wait while the software creates my slideshow for me. And then once that's actually created it, I'll see my opportunity to grab an embed code. It's actually quite a complicated and sophisticated little bit of software behind here, so it takes a little while to go through. And then finally, hopefully, I'll get my link. There we go. Now you can see that I've got a link that I can email out to people, but what I want is the embed code here. So if I click on embed and just copy that code, and then going back to It's Learning, I'm going to go to my World Book Day course that I've created. And into the resources and to the page that I created earlier. And if I add a content block here, rich content block, all I need to do is to click on the embed button, paste in the code that I took, and insert my slideshow. I'll just give it a title. And if I move my toolbar out of the way so that I can see the save button. And when it's loaded, I'll see my slideshow. Obviously, I can organize my page however I want to be able to see that in its full glory. And I can then play that particular slideshow and look at all the beautiful photos. So what else can we do? So you can use a page in your course to link through to all sorts of online activities that you want your learners to visit. You can either link to the World Book Day website homepage and let your pupils browse the site, or better still, point them to specific activities that are appropriate for them. So if I go back to my site here, I'm going to add a content block. And here I've got the World Book Day site open. So I could just link through to the main site here with a text link, but it might be an activity that I want my pupils to do, a bit of a fun activity on this one. So we've got some games here. Let's click on page 2 and go through to how to train your dragon. Now, I want to put a link through to take my students directly to this particular activity. So if I go down and open the snipping tool is a free tool that comes with Windows. There are other tools available, but that's my favorite. And you can see it's opened up here. Just click on New. And little crosshatch allows me to say what I want to snip from there. I just save it then to my computer. So we'll call it Train Dragon and click on Save. So the actual page I want my students to go to is the one that leads from that link. So I'm just going to grab the address of the page, click on copy, go back to my rich text editor, and I'm going to put in my image. So clicking on the image link here, upload and insert, choose my file and choose the one that I just saved, which was Train Dragon. Upload and insert, and there's my image. And then if I click on my image to select it, choose the link tool and just paste in the address of the page that I want it to link to. Click on OK, and again, OK that to save. That will open that particular image, and you can see my cursor's turned to a hand. If I click on that, that takes me straight through to that particular game that I wanted to play. So image links really useful for taking through your learners to a particular activity or a particular site that you want them to be able to use. Several schools I've been to recently are planning to repeat their extreme reading activity, where staff and learners upload photos of themselves reading in unusual locations or positions. As you can see this example from a school here. This school used the platform to advertise and promote the competition and created a folder in their course for each year group in their World Book Day course, where the teacher uploaded the photos that she was sent by the pupils so they could all view them. But you could do this even more easily by creating a discussion forum with a thread for each class. Pupils could then add a post and upload their photo for everyone to see without the teacher having to do anything apart from create the forum. Last year, before the arrival of the new bulletins and news feed, this school updated a content block with reports about what was happening during their World Book Day. This is even easier to do with the quick-to-use bulletins, and those bulletins will be pulled through as an instant update onto each individual's homepage. Of course, World Book Day, or even week in some schools, is not only a perfect opportunity to promote reading as an enjoyable activity, but you're doing that in more subtle ways all year round. So how could you use itslearning to help provide access to reading and a variety of activities and support for learners? The audio and video tools in itslearning mean that you can provide audio books as tasters or support for readers. Here, for example, the pupils have been set an assignment to listen to the first chapter of a book. This had been uploaded to soundcloud.com by the publisher, soundcloud.com. SoundCloud provides the embed code for recordings on their website, so you can embed them anywhere in itslearning using the embed button, just like we did with the slideshow. As follow-up, the students are asked to give their feedback and first impressions in a discussion forum, also in itslearning, and the teacher is linked to it from here. Discussions can be used in all sorts of ways to promote reading. This teacher set up a thread asking pupils to review a book they'd read. Note her use of self-recorded video for the instructions as well. The pupils then used tablets to video each other's book review programs, and the videos were uploaded as posts in a discussion forum. To do this, click on the self-recorded video button in the rich text editor. And then rather than the integrated recorder, select the Upload tab and browse to the video folder on your device to upload the video you've made. This school have used pages in a course to create a wiki page for each pair of pupils. You can see all their pages down here. The teacher set the permissions separately for each page so that only the owners of the page could edit it, but they couldn't edit anyone else's. Those owners or those students then created content blocks to give as much information about their chosen book as possible to tempt others to read it. A similar idea is to get your students to create an itslearning quiz to test their classmates on their knowledge of a particular book. We'll just go back to the demo site here and to the resources in my World Book Day course. It's a good idea to have a folder, create a folder to keep all of these quizzes together. So I've got my book quizzes folder here. And then all I need to do is to click on Add, go down to Test, which is quiz as well, give it a title. So Melissa and Amy's quiz. And save it. Once I've created that quiz, I don't need to do anything else because the pupils are going to do all the work. But what I need to do is set the permissions. So from the ellipsis at the top, the little More menu, click on Permissions. And for this particular quiz, I want to select who can add or modify test questions. So normally it would be the teacher that set up quizzes and tests, but I can alter the permissions for this particular one by clicking on Melissa's name and also for Amy, and Add and Save. And now they will be able to add questions to this particular test for the rest of the class to complete. If I want them to be able to see how people have done with their test, I will also need to go to current permissions, continue to give permissions to this particular test, and just select who can see the results of this test, and again add Melissa and Amy for those. Following on from that, make sure that all the quizzes, let's just go back to all of the quizzes here. Make sure once your pupils have added their questions that these are all active, if they haven't made them active themselves, so that the pupils can see each other's and respond to them. Each pair will have their edit rights on their own quiz, but they'll only be able to answer everyone else's. You can use the platform to provide tasters of books for your students to try. Kindle books helpfully provide the embed code for you to add tasters of ebooks to your VLE. So if we go back to the live site, and I'll go to a page that I've created, what will you read next? So again, just added content blocks in the normal way here. And I'll just add another book to show you how that's done. So if I go to Kindle books, just Google Kindle books to go through. Find the book that you want using the filters for the right age and topic and so on. And then you'll see at the bottom down here, I've got the embed button. And if I click on there, and then embed on your site rather than just get a link, I'm going to copy that code and then go back to my It's Learning site, add a content block, rich content, use the embed button again and paste in that code that I just copied and insert it into the page and save my content block. Just move that over here. And then from the preview button, users can read the book as it is, or also by clicking on the page, they'll get the option for full screen. And I can open that up for full screen and click through to read the beginning of the book. If you're adding more than one book, it's a good idea in the Kindle site to go back up to the top and click on Kindle books again and start from that link, because otherwise it takes you through just to the Amazon books, which don't give you the embed code. So you want the Kindle books site to get that particular code. There are also lots of e-magazines that provide the embed code to embed them in your own site, whether it's something to tempt a reluctant reader or as a resource for their studies. Students can access this It's Learning content from wherever they are, on anything from a desktop PC to their phone, at school, college, home, on the bus, wherever. Research has shown that e-books and magazines are more popular with reluctant readers than paper books because they're perceived as being more cool, and they can be accessed from a phone or iPad without being obvious that that student is, or that learner is, reading. Important if you're worried about peer pressure in particular. And if you want a quick way of whetting their appetite with tasters of books, why not put in a regular bulletin with a book trailer? Let's just go back to my site, click on my overview page in my course. I'm in the new version of It's Learning here, but you can do this from your bulletins in your course. So I've got a particular book trailer that I found on YouTube. Click to copy the URL, go back to my bulletins and just paste in a can put a message in as well. I just paste in the URL, and that will embed the trailer for that particular book. I'm often surprised when I visit schools and colleges that their library or LRC is not involved at all with itslearning, when it's a one-stop shop for students across the rest of the organisation. I'm often told, well, we have our own system, we don't need itslearning. And this seems a shame, as they're missing out on all the fabulous opportunities for communicating and promoting what they have to offer to the very people they're trying to attract. Your library should have their own course with all students at least as participants. The librarian can then add interesting articles, news bulletins, reviews, anything that they want to keep their learners, your learners, informed. If there's an electronic library system, put a link to it from the library course. If the system has a web access and requires a login, it will have a secure URL starting with HTTPS. And if you add a secure site as a link from the Add Resources menu in your course, it'll automatically embed the website in the page. I'll just show you an example. So this particular login for a library system, if I copy the URL, go to itslearning, and I'm going to add a resource, which is a link. I can give it a title. Let's say online. Get rid of the title that's already there first. Online library access. Click the tick to save it, and then just paste in that URL. And you can see that because it's HTTPS, it's a secure site, it's giving me the option to embed the page within itslearning. If I save that, you can see that I've got now a live site that I can log into, just as I would do by going to that site direct. You could also use a page to provide links to free resources and subscription services that your school or college pay for and that students will want to access. These are just images again, which have been hyperlinked to the websites, just like we saw earlier. This is an alternative way of providing text links using a note, just typing in the text, selecting it, and again using the link tool to put in the URL. Another example of an embedded website, this time it's a tool for providing references for research that the institution subscribes to. Might be a free one as well. This particular one needs a secure account. So guides, tutorials, downloadable help sheets can all be put in one place that students can access from wherever they are. Well, I hope that that's given you some ideas for how you can use itslearning for World Book Day and beyond, anything to support reading. We'd love to hear about anything else you've done in your own platform, and particularly what you do for World Book Day. Please tweet us at itslearninguk, #LearningThursdays. Thanks again, and I'll leave you with my contact details if you have any questions. Until next time.